Did you hear something like that?
My mom was telling me something happening in Brazil, and Whoa was telling me right when I was about to go to Texas, he was like, "Man, it's too much, man. I'm telling you, don't go." But Whoa was just my
No, but it's
family,
true though. There's a lot of crashes and planes and stuff happening.
church.
Like a lot. Like I'm hearing it from a lot of people, like different. It's not even the same story, different stories, different planes, different places. Make no
But
sense. There was one I heard like a lot of doctors, nurses, and stuff were on the plane, and it
where
crashed.
were they going?
Why did
Huh?
you?
Yeah, that's what matters the most. You gotta know where these people are going. Maybe.
But it's like, yeah, true, but somebody's life though, like, does it really have to cost somebody's life?
Yeah,
Whatever. I like to live a regular life. I don't want to get involved in these things.
church.
I don't want to hear about stuff like this. I don't like hearing. I hate the news. It's not. This is not for regular people. Stuff like this ain't for regular people like us.
Church.
Huh?
Church. Hawkerson. 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 Sensen. Hawkerson. Hawkerson. Yeah, on that, I'm finna get in on this YouTube stuff, and
You gonna do what?
I'm finna go in some YouTube and watch some content. You feel me?
Mhm.
And react to some content, leave some comments and likes and stuff.
Okay.
Alright, don't eat too much more tacos. I know you got some extra. You just don't want me to come over and get some.
No,
It's okay.
I'm about to have my first two. You heard I say first two, right?
Yeah.
All right, then. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's enough. First two.
I mean, you got 10 more.
No, I'm not even gonna eat two though. This is basically four. I put the soft taco and the hard taco together.
Did you have work today?
Hmm?
Did you have work today?
Of course I had work. I had work Monday through Friday.
Okay. You were saying you was with them.
Did you have an appointment?
No.
When is your next appointment?
Say that again?
When is your next appointment?
Bro, I got an appointment tomorrow with Hawk. I gotta call them people and reschedule it because I ain't got the bread tomorrow. I gotta reschedule it after the 21st. 21st is when I got some money coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, have a wonderful night.
You as well, man. You as well, man. I pray for you and yours to be happily ever after. Treat that man right, man. Cook him some Haitian food. You feel me?
That's the plan. That's the plan. Definitely, I cannot wait to do that.
That's
Because
dope.
he's been coming through, and we're not even together for real yet.
Oh, he already in your house?
No, that's one thing that I'm keeping away from his dad until I really know him for real. It's okay. I can go to his house. His people own their place.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody there cool. Just literally brothers that stay there, and their girlfriends stay with them, literally, and they stay with their dad.
Is the brother's girlfriend fat as well?
She's big boned, but I don't know what you consider fat. Cause me, I feel like she's thick.
Natalie, does she look like you, nigga? Do you know that you are fat?
No, she don't.
Are you bigger? Huh?
No. I can feel like about the same size. She just don't have meat in her stomach.
So do you think you're fat? Yes or no?
No.
Natalie, you're fat as fuck.
I don't think that. I honestly don't think that. But anyways.
Oh shit, that's
So,
funny.
yeah.
So just a family of niggas who like big
Maybe.
females.
talking. We're just talking about stuff. Just talking.
Alright.
Yeah.
Peace out. Bonne nuit. Good night, Sydney. Good night, Natalie.
Good night, nigga.
Peace out.
At that time, I didn't know. I just felt like one shot.
Right.
But I got 5 times.
Pardon?
5 times.
5 times?
Yes.
Where were you shot?
And my leg, my other leg, and the back, and over here in the armpit.
The Parkland school shooter has just entered into a shocking agreement with one of his surviving victims, Anthony Borges. We will bring on Anthony's attorney, Alex Ariaza, to explain what just happened. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. We have an absolutely stunning development in the Parkland school shooting case. Remember, this was back in 2018 when a gunman opened fire at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School out in Parkland, Florida. He ended up killing 17 people, wounding 17 others. Shooter pled guilty. After a penalty phase trial, the jury recommended he be sentenced to life in prison. That was ultimately imposed. 34 consecutive life sentences. He's 25 years old now. But now I want to talk to you about one of the victims, Anthony Borges. He was shot 5 times that day. He was only 15 years old, and he survived. Yeah, he underwent 14 operations, spent months in a hospital, lucky to be alive. You even may recall that he provided harrowing testimony at the shooter's trial about this.
Tell us what happened, okay?
So I was in the 3rd floor on class personalization, 1250, I think. And I was just sitting down, the teacher just explaining about the finals exams and stuff like that. So I was just chilling, sitting, listening to music, and then I hear something weird, like a scream, like some echo. So I turned off the music, and then the alarm went on, and then went off, and then went on again, like 2 times. So everybody was confused. Everybody just get out of the class. There was like a lot of people in the hallway. Then I decided to go down to the stairwell. That's when I saw the gun and just closed the door and started running.
Okay, then what did you do?
Then he shot me on my left leg, and then I saw this door like half open. Then I closed it, and I just lay down there. So then I got shot, everything got silent. I just looked myself, check up on me. I looked everything around me. There was a person in front of me, there was another person on the other side. I talked to that person to reach out if it was okay or anything, and she didn't respond. That's when I stopped talking to her. I just reached out on my phone and I called my mom first. She didn't answer. I called my best friend. She didn't answer. Then I called my dad. So I done everything, like goodbye and everything. I threw my phone because I didn't want the shooter just looking at me with the phone and shoot me again. So I just threw the phone.
Okay, when you were on the phone, where were you?
I was outside the classroom.
Yeah, were you standing?
No, I was shot. I was laying down in the hallway.
So you were laying in the hallway?
Yes.
Did you call for help or anything?
I did call, yeah.
Did you call in Spanish and English or just
Both, yes.
What were you yelling?
Help.
What the fuck, you dumbass nigga?
Okay.
Now, speaking of Anthony, in what, again, is a
Nigga was yelling.
stunning development, the shooter and he have just entered into a legal agreement with incredible concessions, including that the shooter has apparently signed over the rights to his name to Anthony. Yes. So to explain this more, I want to bring in Anthony's attorney, Alex Ariaza, to talk more about this. Alex, so good to have you on. Did I get your last name right? I've been going back and forth. I got it right. Good. Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming on. So you have to talk to me about, first of all, how did this deal even come up? What was this agreement? Is it a settlement? Walk us through how this even happened.
Well, initially, when we sued a lot of people, and the first time that we entered into a somewhat similar with the scenes. If you remember, they're the ones that were keeping Nicholas Cruz and the guns, and that's where he was keeping the guns. So we entered into a similar situation, into a similar agreement, which we didn't want anybody. Okay, now you're connected to this, and you're going to go do the talk show circuit and write books. No, that's not going to happen, and we weren't. That's the reason that we settled that particular way with the Sneaks. They couldn't go on talk shows. They couldn't be making money off of it. And it was open, and we could reopen up the case if they violated that. Now, if you went, it was kind of what inspired this. People ask me what inspired this. If you go right from the beginning, and I've been practicing law for 30 years, I don't think I've ever been around as much pain and drama and all the things that the suffering that these parents, and it's something we could all identify with because it's you can imagine it being our kids. And I remember when we were thinking about how to approach Nicholas Cruz, part of what I thought about was this, it was the son of Sam, and how all those shows were on. And then O.J. Simpson, I don't know if you remember, O.J. wrote a book, If I Would Have Done It, or If I Could Have Done It. And then there was issues of where the money was going to go, and we didn't want any of that to happen. Yeah. So that's where we're like, okay, we're gonna shut this down before it even gets started. Now, we were set to go to trial July, I believe it was July 22nd, with another attorney that he represented 4 other families of victims, David Brill. But once when we started to the point where we're preparing for it, we started seeing that, as incredible as it sounds, and you said it at the beginning, the 15-year-old recovered from 5 AR-15 bullets. And I can tell you right now, if you see him right now, he looks really good. But the problem right now is the PTSD, and anything can trigger that. I mean, it helped him when the building came down a few weeks ago. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. The 1200 building where all this happened came down. That helped him. So we were trying to coordinate and sat down and what we would present to Nicholas Cruz as a settlement offer. And basically, the way that we approached him was, look, you were at when you took your plea, you were talking about how sorry you were. Okay, then you're going to address it here. Let's see how sorry you are. So when I approached him, I think mine's a little different because I not only, I took this particular case, but a lot of my trial work is in criminal. So I know how to approach somebody or take a deposition with somebody in prison, and it's a lot of work. And especially him, that it's kind of strange with him because what they've done is they move him around and they don't let anybody know where he's at. So it takes a lot of red tape.
For security reasons, right? For security reasons. Yeah.
For security reasons, and the interesting part is that we finally set it up. We went through all this, and he really didn't have any. He didn't have any issues. People ask me, "Was it back and forth?" No. I said, "Here's what we want," and he signed up on it.
Hey everybody, I want to thank Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring today's Law and Crime YouTube Takeover. We are very proud to be partners with Morgan & Morgan, America's large zero upfront fee. You only pay them if you win. So if you've ever been injured in an accident, is it his name, image, and likeness? So he can't profit from it in any which way?
In any which way. So, yeah, I mean, we locked it up, but, when you have, I practiced for 30 years in criminal, okay? So you gotta remember who you're dealing with. This guy is like a sociopath, psychopath at the highest level. I mean, he will talk about, and it was just an experience taking that statement from him, because during the statement, and Anthony's father was with me. And as cold as anything, he just apologized to him, like, you know, I want to apologize to you about what happened with your son, like, you know, like he just bumped into your car or something, or broke the window to your house or something. I'm sorry, I'll repay it. But, you know, that's a sociopath. They don't understand what they did. They had no connection to it. And, you know, I was fortunate because, you know, what I studied in my undergraduate work, I could explain it to the Borges more. It wasn't he was doing something to be nasty, because I don't think he would have come. If there wasn't a little bit of remorse, he wouldn't have come to the table. So he wanted to atone, and that's why I believe he signed it. There was a part of him that was sorry, but I don't know how much. It was actually kind of creepy.
Was there anything in particular that he said that really stood out to you, other than the fact that he made this sort of apology to you and Anthony's father? Was there anything else that stood out to you about your meeting with him?
I think there were a couple that stood out the most. Like, I don't know how he accepted. I don't know if he expected the father to accept the apology.
Yeah.
You know, ever since that happened, I thought about it, because when he apologized in open court, and we had a press conference, and the media asked him, "Do you accept his apology?" And Anthony said, "Yes, I accept it. I mean, he's going to deal with his consequences, but there's nothing else I can do other than to accept it. It's not going to do me any good not to accept it."
So walk us through how this is going to work practically. Now that Anthony owns the rights to the shooter's name, image, and likeness, does he plan to do anything with it, or is this just a way for him to prevent the shooter from doing interviews and books and movies?
That's exactly, that was our purpose. It's not a matter of I mean, he will have the option to do what he wants, but the objective here was there isn't going to be any book. Like, you know, if I would have done it differently, I could have gotten away with it. It's not, even if they're not making money, even if that's, you know, just coming back to see the amount of torture and pain that Nicholas Cruz caused. No, he's not going to get a chance to even bring back those memories. And that was our objective.
So how would you enforce it? The reason I say this, you talked about O.J. Simpson, right? If this was a case where he signed over his name, image, and likeness, his rights to his name, there could be, and if he decided to do an interview or a book and be in violation of that agreement, you could sue him, right? And he had money, he was a free individual. You have this shooter who's locked away. What would be, if he decides to do an interview in violation of that agreement, or he decides to write a book in violation of the agreement, who do you go after? Do you go after the publisher, the producer, the news agency? Do you go after him? What's a way to enforce it when he's essentially locked up away for the rest of his life? What would prevent him from doing it?
Well, that's exactly what would make it feasible to enforce it, okay? If you practice criminal law and you have to do anything with a prison, you know how slow it is and how much red tape there is. So when they even attempted it, and we smelled we could go get an injunctive relief and get an injunction based on this agreement. So you can't do anything. If I have to talk to somebody that I'm doing an appeal for in a prison and I'm his lawyer, it takes me 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
To get all the permission and everything. So they're not going to be able to stay below the radar.
Right.
We'll be able to know anything that he does.
There was another part of this agreement too, correct me if I'm wrong, it's that you were able to get this shooter to agree to donate his brain to research? How did that come about?
Well, when we spoke, I ran this, I had this idea when we discussed it with the Borges. Part of my undergraduate work was in criminology, and I remember that a lot of these studies were like that. They were studying brains, and then I explained to them that when we where we had, they were going through all these football players they were getting the CTE, and I believe the NFL, what they do is that they ask other players once they die to study their brain. And really, that's how they found out. I think it's called CTE. It's the injury. And I remember with all the crazy stuff that was happening, it was Junior Seau, and they started doing this. And there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that the boy has really good people. They're just doing everything to try to prevent this from ever happening again. And part of it was that if you study him, and if there was some imbalance in that brain, they could be approached or, attacked a certain way to prevent this from happening. And we're aware, after 6 years, that this guy was just full of antidepressant medication. They were putting all kinds of medication into him. So we want to see, but if they find something. And I explained to him why we did it, and he was like fine with it. Like I said, there's a little bit of remorse, not much with it.
Well, I'm not surprised that he wouldn't be resistant to it, because his argument during the penalty phase trial was essentially not that he wasn't at fault, but that there were all these other factors that led him to open fire that day. That there was his upbringing, there was mental health factors that had to be considered, and clearly the jury in that case was persuaded of the fact that they didn't recommend the death penalty. So I guess I'm not surprised, right, that Nicholas Cruz believes. I mean, did he say anything? Yes, I want, when I die, I want my brain to be studied. I don't want this to happen to somebody else. As I've been saying for a long time, this was out of my hands. I'm, a victim of what happened to me in a way. Did he say anything like that?
No, he really wasn't. He wasn't making an argument for himself. Like I said, it was somewhat of an atonement to the Borges, who's going to give him whatever he wanted, because I don't know, I think because I believe we're the only ones that have reached out to him.
Yeah.
And attempted it. And so he wants to show something that he is sorry. And I don't know if it's for himself personally. I mean, he's going to be in the rest of his life. It's not going to help him in any other way. So I don't know. But when I asked him and I explained it to him, he was fine with it. Oh, okay.
And I want to end this by going back to Anthony. So my understanding is there was a settlement in this case when there was litigation against the school district. They were able to secure a $1.25 million settlement for him. How has that money, how has that impacted his life, his family's life? How is Anthony doing at this point? You talked about that he looks great, but how can you give us an update on how Anthony and his family are doing?
Physically, he looks really good. He put on a little weight. He actually looks really good. But the PTSD, it creeps up on him, and Anthony's very reserved, so you can't really tell. He's not outgoing. Well, no, he is outgoing, but at the same time, he's somewhat reserved. So for Anthony to tell you if something is wrong, he
diamonds in his ears, man.
In that sense, he's very private. So you can kind of have to know him for a while, like tell when things are bothering him. And what the issue is, the PTSD. You have to understand how Anthony said something to me a while back, and he said, "I really see how much you love practicing law." And I said, "Yeah, I do." Imagine if somebody took that from you. That's what he did to me. Because Anthony was on the road to being a professional soccer player. He's very good. That's all he ever wanted to do. Yeah. And so the PTSD from the injury, you taking his dream from him, it's going to have psychological problems. He's doing the best he can with it.
It's interesting you say that because Anthony's father, I believe, told the Sun Sentinel, after what he took from my son, whatever he owns in this world, we should take it from him, right? And how was Anthony's father seeing the shooter face to face? How was that?
When I saw he had real mixed feelings about it. He didn't really know how to take at that moment because Nicholas saw a different guy there that he's trying to talk, and I mean you can see it's as messed up as the whole situation is.
Yeah.
You get the child with the destruction that he caused. He's not much older than Anthony. So he had real mixed feelings about it.
Yeah. Horrible case. Very interesting development, to say the least. Please extend our best wishes to Anthony and the family. Alex Ariaza, thank you so much for coming on and breaking down this legal development for us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody, that's all we have
Hold on, man.
right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please name to Anthony. Yes. So to explain this more, I want to bring in Anthony's attorney, Alex Ariaza, to talk.
To reach out if it was okay or anything. And she didn't respond.
This goofy ass lawyer.
That's when
Asking that man, how did you yell out for
I
help?
stopped talking to her. I just reached out on my phone.
That's
and
so
I called
stupid,
my mom first. She didn't answer. I called my best friend. She didn't answer, and then I called my dad. So I told her everything, like goodbye and everything. I threw my phone because I didn't want to shoot her. She was looking at me with the phone and shot me again. So I just threw the phone.
Okay, when you were on the phone, where were you?
I was outside the classroom.
Yeah, were you standing?
No, I was shot. I was laying down in the hallway.
So you were running in the hallway?
Yes.
Did you call for help or anything?
I did call. Yeah.
Did you call in Spanish and English? Or
Dumbass lawyer!
Yes.
What were you yelling?
Help.
Help, help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, speaking
This
of
man wanted a viral moment.
again is
Ayúdame!
and he
Ayúdame!
had
Aquí,
just entered
aquí!
into a legal agreement
That's what he
with
wanted the fucking victim
incredible
to say, bro.
concessions, including
Dude's
that
a
the
victim.
shooter has
This
apparently
bald-ass,
signed over the
dumbass
rights
lawyer.
to his
What were
name
you yelling?
to Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So
I
to
was
explain
yelling
this
help,
more,
sir.
I want to bring in
Are you
Anthony's
fucking
attorney,
retarded?
Alex
I was on the
Ariaza,
fucking floor.
to
I could
talk
not
more about
fucking
this.
yell, nigga.
Alex, so good to
I'm
have you
just
on. Did I
saying
get
I
your
was
last
yelling.
name right? I've been
You
going
think
back
the
and
nigga
forth.
was actually fucking
I got it.
yelling?
Good. Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming on. So,
Lawyers. Lawyers.
It sparked an idea. And the idea was I would put up 100K of my own money. It sparked an idea. And the idea was I would put up 100K of my own money for any street chick. Huh? For any street chick who think. Yeah. Any street chick or boxer who think that they can beat me. If you can beat me in a fight, baby, you can beat me in a fight. I will reward you 100K. I mean that. It sparked an idea. And the idea was I
don't get
To be so for real.
What was that about? I don't know. Ha! We're making tech.
My name Brian was like, yo, where'd you get this name? I'm like,
Yo!
now see you talking about spoke all the time.
I'm gonna go live again, man. I'm gonna pause this, go live again. Ah, no, I can't even go live with this, bro. Damn, man, these mans do not let people react to their music videos. Just in case I can't, I'm on. See y'all on the next one. Next one's about to be titled Fredo Bang and Main Music beef. How Tech, who banged with Main Music, switched up to ride with Fredo Bang, because you see that main music is it's kind of fed and he's politicking, not politicking for real. You feel me? Big Z